Hey, kids. Nick DiPaolo, inaugural podcast. Should be excited. I should be. I'm not. Yes, I am. I mean, I'm sure the world. That's what we need. Another comedian doing a podcast. Hey, and with me this evening, the guy who founded the Riotcast Network, which is where you're going to hear this and on iTunes and the other place you listen to podcasts. Rob Sprance is in the house.
How you doing? It's an
What's
honor.
up, Rob?
What an honor to be here.
Dude, let me tell you about Rob, okay? He works a real job during the day, okay? And he lives in Long Island, so he's a commuter. He gets on the train, goes home from his job, turns around, gets in the car, and comes up here.
And I think about hanging myself on every commute back and forth.
Do you really?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, if you're on the train, some nut might shoot you. That happens once every 10 years.
You know, sometimes I pray for that.
Yeah, I know. I've done the commute.
Sometimes, like, maybe this will be the car where it'll happen for me.
So I'm glad you came up, brother, and I appreciate it. So
it's a pleasure.
The Riotcast Network, and this is the first podcast. And at the beginning, I want to explain, folks, it's going to be bare bones. It's going to be, I'll record it and put it out there whenever, the next day, whatever, you can listen to it. That's how it's going to start out. But eventually, I want to treat this as close as a radio show as I can. We're going to have a call-in number. I'm going to do the shows live, so we can recreate that radio thing that people love.
Put a smoke machine in here. Do laser beams.
Yeah, exactly.
Do that shit right.
Like a Kiss concert or a YouTube video.
Exactly. You should put the Kiss makeup on.
Yeah, well, I got that. But so that's what we're going to, at the beginning it'll be bare bones, and eventually. And then the third level, if it's successful, obviously we put the cameras in, and you can, Ustream and the whole dealio. So, this is funny for me because I go from I had a legitimate radio gig in a $5 million studio, and here I am, and I'm in a basement, basically.
But you look happy.
I am happy.
That's what matters.
Yeah, and we'll leave it at that, okay? But I'll tell you who I feel like, and I think some of you people will know what I'm talking about if you know this movie.
Take it easy. Lower it.
I'm not going to lower it. I have to do this now.
I don't mind you playing it, but lower it.
Little Rupert Pupkin.
Fucking great movie.
Yeah, the king of comedy. And if you haven't seen it, folks, and a lot of people haven't, I might bring it up, and they're still talking about The Hangover 3.
Yeah, no good.
Yeah, so... Rupert Pupkin, De Niro played it in The King of Comedy.
And he had like cardboard cutouts of everybody.
I was thinking about doing that too.
Yeah. I can leave one of me. You can leave your cardboard cutout of me. I want
it to make it more like a comedy club audience. It'll be a bachelorette party. I was going to cut out girls with dicks on their hats, and then the Hispanic table getting upset because I made a crack about illegal immigrants, and I'm trying to make it that New York, that open-minded New York comedy audience I'm so used to.
Well, that's why I'm here as the network. I want to make sure you get as offensive as possible.
Fucking liberal fucks. Anyways, there's a lot more where that come from. But let's talk about what I wanted to talk about was stand-up comedy. I like to give people a peek into what goes on. I mean, this past weekend I had a gig in Poughkeepsie. Again, to give you an idea where the career's going. Broadcasting from my basement, and I did a show in Poughkeepsie. It's like I'm in reverse, going 400 miles an hour. But Bananas in Poughkeepsie, I've done the gig many times. The people, they go, why do you do rooms like that at this point? And you're like... Well, when you have an open Saturday that you're not booked at an A club somewhere, and you're trying to put a new hour together. I'm shooting this new hour in November, so I want to hone this thing and every chance I get. So I grab any gigs, and I do a lot of local stuff. Hadn't done this one in a while.
Why is it bad up there?
It's it's Poughkeepsie. No offense, Poughkeepsie. You're fine, but it's it's not a good room. But anyways, I get up there. Yeah, I'm always in a cherry mood. And I get up there, and there's a show already going on before mine. My show's supposed to be at 8 o'clock. And I see a comedy show going on, which nobody told me about.
Like they had a show before you, or is this like you coming on after this for the same people?
Well, those are all the questions I had when I walked in with a scowl on my face. And I go up to this girl who's pinned in the corner, and she's the only one waiting on people. She's at this little counter, and I notice she's handing out sodas and water. And I go, hey, in my Norm Macdonald way, hey, what the fuck? I'm like, why is there a fucking show going on? She goes, I can't talk right now. I'm the only one here. She starts yelling at me.
Oh my God. Well, that's nice. What a way.
She didn't know who the fuck I was. And then, again, that speaks to my career. But I'm like, take it easy, honey. Okay. I said, I'm on the next show. I'm just asking. You know, I know, but I'm alone. She almost started crying. I go, hey, service with a smile. And then I fucking got away from her as quick as possible. And she was the only one, serving the place. But here's the thing. And there's a bunch of people standing, looking into the comedy showroom from the lobby, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, at the Grand Mercury Hotel, whatever I was playing.
That's a palace.
Yeah. So they're standing there, and I'm going, what the fuck is going on? Why is there a show going on? There was a comedy competition, turns out.
Oh, Jesus.
For some of the locals. Funniest people in, Nutwing County. Yeah, whatever.
There's Johnny from the insurance salesman company.
Well, some 14-year-old kid won it. Seriously, the dad comes up to me after the show. I'm in the lobby sitting there with a puss on my face. And he comes up and introduces his son, 14 years old, won the competition. And I said to him, congratulations, you're on your way. And in 30 years, you play your cards right, you'll be here at the Holiday Inn in Shittville. And the father starts laughing. I go, I lost every contest I ever fucking entered, including my marriage. I thought the father would find that funny. He gives me like a dirty look.
It'd be great if the kid was like a dick, too, like all conceited because he just won.
I would have punched him right in the stomach. But so anyways, and that was the positive part of the night. So then this girl comes up to me and introduces herself. She goes, I think I'm your opening act. Like this cute girl. And I'm like, oh, okay, fine. And then I see her walk away and she comes out of this room. She's carrying chairs into the showroom for the next show.
So you're opening and setting up chairs? Like that's the gig?
I wasn't.
No,
she
but
was.
it's just...
Well, geez, let's get this straight. Fucking, I was... Nobody would ask me to carry chairs.
You'd beat somebody with a fucking chair.
So I go. I told her, put those down. I go, put the fucking chairs down. I go, that is not your job. Who is in charge of this shithole? And there's this woman, Pat, there, this really attractive black woman, busty, beautiful. She's nice as hell, and she's got more. And I guess she was running it, but she's got, here's what happened. The hotel just got bought, okay? So they have no liquor license. Apparently that had expired or whatever, however that works. Thought you just grandfather it into the next owner. So there's no liquor license, okay? So I go, I'll just go to this little bar that I always go to in the hotel. I look in, that's closed, locked up and stuff.
Jesus.
And the girl behind the counter goes, yeah, we don't have a liquor license. So now I get an audience, which, again, the misnomer in comedy is that a drunk audience is a good audience, and that's not true either. But I don't want them stone cold fucking sober.
Right, and aggravated that they can't get a drink.
That's right.
It's true.
And they were. So I'm like, what the hell? And I have this woman coming to see me. She's a lawyer. I made friends with her on Red Eye, the show Red Eye on Fox News Channel. And she's from up in the Poughkeepsie area. I mentioned I was playing up there. So she brings people. And she's like, what's going on here? I can't even get a drink. And I go, it's just so fucking embarrassing. She goes, I'll be right back. She's from the area. She goes, I'm going to go get... I go, where you go? She goes, don't worry about it. She takes off, comes back like 10 minutes later. She hands me a 40-ounce Heineken. Okay. And I needed a drink at this point. I'm just like, I'm a little fucking tense. It's 8:45 and my show still hasn't started yet, my 8 o'clock show.
Oh, wow.
And you're supposed to know what you're walking into.
Yeah,
Again,
sure.
I've handled my career in a reckless manner, so really, ultimately, it's all my fault. But so she comes back and hands me a 40-ounce, and her and her friends that she was with, the comedy competition finally ends, and they go in and sneak their booze in. I'm standing outside drinking a 40-ounce. You're not supposed to have booze, I guess, without the liquor license. I'm standing behind some hedges like I'm in 8th grade. This is like when I got shit-faced in 8th grade.
Yeah, and you had somebody score you the booze, too, like you were...
Exactly. I'm standing behind these tall hedges. Cars are pulling into the parking lot, and their lights are like hitting the bushes that I'm standing behind.
Oh, man.
It's like I'm in 8th grade. And then I look over my shoulder, and there's a couple in the hotel room looking out at me. They're behind me, looking at me, standing behind bushes in front of their window, drinking a 40-ounce like a fucking derelict.
Oh, man.
And just, I mean, it's like, man, look, I know I'm not fucking Jim Carrey or whatever, Louis C.K. selling, 5,000. But come on, for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
I just want to work on my shit.
It'd be great if somebody caught a shot of you down in the 40 ounce behind the bushes and tweeted it. That would have been the best.
Let me tell you, I drank that thing like it was an iced tea. 40 ounces, it went down, seriously. It was like a...
Do you ever get like a buzz before you go on stage? Like you get like buzzed or you don't want to drink too much?
For the first 10 years or 11 years of my career, I never had a drink before I went on stage, right? And then I was in like Chicago one weekend and I'm looking around. Everybody's having a good time before the show. And I go, fuck this. I went to the bar and had a couple drinks and I had a killer set. It really, if you know my personality, I mean, I could use an Ambien before I go on. You know what I mean? I'm like a fucking...
Yeah, you're fired up.
So I don't... Some people drink to relax because of their nerve. That's not the case. I was bored after 11 years of, everybody's having fun on the weekend. So I'm like, I want to have
taking
fun.
it too seriously.
So I remember that night in Chicago. I'd never drank. A couple times maybe, in Boston or whatever when I was a new comic. But I always got sloppy, so I quit doing that. Yeah. But I had like a killer set the night in Chicago, and then I'm like, God. And again, it takes the edge off my fucking...
Yeah, but then you start to think, should I do all my shows like this? It gets in your head a little bit. Because even with my podcast, like sometimes I would do it stoned, and then I used to do them all stoned. And then I did one when I wasn't stoned, and I was like, wait a minute, that was actually better. So then you have this conflict, like, do I smoke?
Well, yeah. I played with it over the years. After the 10-year mark, there were nights when I went on with 9 drinks in me, and I listened to myself the next day, and I'm like, oh, my God. Well, it sounded like I was at a cookout with my friends. There was no structure. I mean, I was saying fuck 90 times a minute instead of the usual 30. And I was like, I was just sloppy and missing whole chunks of jokes and stuff. But then there were nights where I had a lot of drinks in me that I was so off the rails and some of it was really funny, just pouring, but it's not a good habit to get into.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to a couple of drunk Nick DiPaolo podcasts too.
Yeah, I also contemplated that when you first talked me into doing this. A couple of weeks ago, I was thinking it would be funny if I did this with a couple in me every night.
I should have put it in the contract that you had to be drunk to do it.
We could call it the name of the show is .08 or whatever.
You start throwing up at the 45-minute mark.
Yeah. No, I can hold my booze. My mother's got some Scottish in her. Whatever the fuck that means. I'm sure I'll get calls on that. What are you mad about that? What are you saying?
I don't like what he said.
But yeah, so just a horrendous night. And then the girl goes up before me and does a nice job. This girl Caitlin goes up and the crowd stayed from the first show. So this is a Mickey Mouse operation. Okay. A few of them left, but more people came in. But just a total fucking operation.
Yeah, isn't that bad though if they stay? Because like you can only laugh so much. Like,
well, of course it's bad. But but the competition was only a half hour long supposedly. Okay. But even that, you understand, is way too much.
Right.
If I could have it like I do it now, I have somebody maybe do 20 minutes in front of me, and then I'll do an hour and 10.
Right.
Enough of this MC, middle act, whatever the fuck.
And then you got to watch a 14-year-old go on stage, and you have to come out and do your adult act right after.
Yeah, might as well have Buddy Ebsen wheeling up to the, hey, wasn't he funny, that young whippersnapper? Yeah. But that kid doesn't know what he's getting into. But yeah, what a weird night. So I go on. Then I'm on for about 5 minutes. 2 guys, and not young kids, I'm talking in their 30s, maybe 40s. 2 guys in the dark corner of the room yelling shit out at me. 2 minutes into my act. Just talking really loud amongst themselves. And when I go, guys, you got to lower your voice. Fucking say something funny. I go, I'm like, what the fuck? Am I being punked tonight? I drank a Heineken in the bushes.
You could have used the bottle. I threw it at them.
And again, and this, they start yelling shit. I go, come on, you gotta let me get going here. Years ago, I would have just said, get the fuck out. I'm trying to teach myself, I try to be nice. And finally, this big guy comes over who introduced himself to me before the show. He was a friend of Rich Franchese, the guy that booked him. But this guy was a former corrections officer at Sing Sing. So,
oh, fuck.
And he was a big dude. He had gold chain on it. And he went over, and I don't even know if he was officially the doorman that night, or he just happened to be there doing me a favor. Seriously, I still don't know.
Maybe if you're a big guy, like, you feel obligated to jump into any kind of bullshit.
Well, yeah, and you're a former law enforcement guy, so I don't know. But anyways, he went over and said something to them. Gave him one more morning, and then he came in with another guy from the hotel, and those guys left. And I didn't say anything. I usually have a parting shot when people get through. I can't keep my mouth shut. I have to give him a zinger. But I just said, I want to get the fuck out.
I just want to move on.
And the crowd was fine, and I got my jokes out. And to be honest with you, the sober crowd is better. They're just more focused. There was a bachelorette party, surprise, at the show. And you know what? They were fine.
Really? Because that's the one thing I hear from a lot of comics is it's torture when there's something
It's a
like
fucking
that.
nightmare. Yeah. So that was Saturday night, and this is how I keep myself going, folks. I'm an avid sports fan, and I don't know if you're not a sports fan, you can't relate to this, but it's October. It is the best month in the world if you like sports. Between college football starting up, playoff baseball, the NHL has kicked in.
Okay.
I mean, college football I love. The NFL I can tolerate. That'll be a whole nother show. But while I'm up in Poughkeepsie, I have about 9 different things being recorded. So I get
all the games.
Yes, I come home. This is my life, folks. I come home. I go down into my man cave, put on a college football game. My wife's upstairs watching. Everybody Loves Raymond reruns. We're 3 floors apart from each other.
And I was noticing the last time I was here, you do the same thing that I do. Like because you're recording so many different games and you don't want to see the score, when you turn the television on, you hold your arm in front of the television to find the menu so you don't see the score. Yeah. I do the same fucking thing.
There's got to be... Well, you had a good idea, Rob, for that.
I
wasn't. Tell the people.
Well, it was kind of a half-ass... it was one of those concepts without the finish to it, but there's got to be a way...
Like my career.
That if you market sports, that you're recording sports, that it would not change to the channel. Or like when you first turn the TV on, It says, do you want to view what's on?
Right.
Because I would do that all the time with a fucking hockey game, and I would get to an angle of the television where I could kind of see if it was the game but not the score, and something happens, the sound will come on and they'll blow it, and Rose will be like, Rangers suck again tonight, and that'll be the end of it.
Yeah, so you people at home who aren't sports fans, you have no idea what the fuck we're talking about. Right. But if you're recording a game or two and you come home and you have to turn the TV on, that you're going to see the game right away, the score, and it's going to give it away of whatever. That's why I got a wife. What I do, and this is true, there's many nights I'm driving home from the Comedy Cellar, I'll call ahead of time and go, honey... And she knows how to work it. She knows. She programmed half the shit. I go find the Red Sox game or whatever, and just cue it up for me. All right, so I can come in and just fucking.
That's perfect.
Isn't that sweet? And then I go, now get it back in your room.
See, I got to do that.
Here's a pork chop.
I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna learn from you.
Yeah. No, that's.
I'm gonna call my fucking wife right now, man.
But why wouldn't they think of something like that?
I know, and it's always because when you're recording the game, it's no big deal. But then you forget that you set to record like some kind of fucking episode of Lockdown Prison or some shit, and it changes the channel because they're recording on both.
Right.
I like a lot of prison shows. I watch a lot of prison.
What are you kidding me? Lockup. I can actually do dialogue from Lockup. And by the way, can I make it? Yeah, I want a little op-ed right now. You people that do Lockup, you producers and the people behind the scenes, stay the fuck off camera.
Yes, thank you.
Nobody wants to see you. Everybody has to be on camera now. The producer, some 52-year-old lady who writes the fucking grant. We don't want to hear from you.
Yeah, she's like, we got in and the prisoners were very violent. Yes, they were. Just show me the goddamn violence.
Yeah,
that's all I want to see.
Exactly. I mean, it's the reason the show is a hit is because there's nothing more interesting than prison life.
Oh, it's
with a bunch of psychos. I don't want to hear from this fucking 22-year-old producer. And then after I finish the graphics, we talk to the rape artist.
Yeah. You know what? Like, I've been watching so much of it, though.
Yeah.
Like, I can't stop because there's marathons. Like, for some reason, they have no programming, so they just run.
I know, and I watch them, dude.
I watch them all. So I'm going to sleep, like, with images of guys in spit masks and shit.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's fascinating.
Yeah, I can't stop.
I've actually sat through a marathon I've seen before. This is why. This is how I know I'm not a real man. I'm just a fucking loser.
Like, watch this, honey. Here's the part. It
started at 9 p.m. Okay, it's 4:30 in the morning, and I'm still up watching my 17th Lockup. I'm just fascinated with it. But,
I one time I fell asleep, and I woke up on the couch, and I opened my eyes, and a guy was throwing feces right when I woke up. I was like, it's time to go to bed. It's time.
That happened to me, but I was at a fraternity party, and it was no dream. So that's what I did. So I come home, I recorded all that shit while I'm up in Poughkeepsie. I come home, I watch, honest to God, this is the truth. I watched the whole Notre Dame. Obviously, you can fast forward when you record stuff through the commercials, but it still takes a while. I watched the whole Ohio State Northwestern game and the second half of the Stanford Washington game. Okay, and then I forced myself to go to bed. It's like 3:30. I get up Sunday morning. I watch the whole Notre Dame Arizona State football game.
Wow.
I watched the rest of the Bruins game, 2 periods, and then I watch Meet the Press. Okay, I mean, Stephen Hawking burned more calories than I did on Sunday. But that's how it's the only thing I have to look forward to.
Yeah, it's fucking great. I agree with you. I'd never leave the house. The fact that I'm here should be a shock to you.
And no, I'm glad you're here. I'm not shocked at all. I knew you were going to run up here. But and come on, my Red Sox, if I'm going to talk sports. Right now, folks, we're recording this on a Thursday night. So the A's and the Tigers are facing off tonight to see who plays my American League East Boston Red Sox.
And to see if they'll be good enough to play my Los Angeles Dodgers.
Wait a minute. What do you mean, your Dodgers?
I'm a Dodger fan. I have to be honest,
whoa,
though.
Whoa. When did the fuck, after they made the deal with the Red Sox?
No, since I was a kid. My father was a Brooklyn Dodger fan, so...
Oh, you're an old Jew from the
back,
early
yeah, without
20s.
the Jew part, yeah. But yeah, like my father was a Dodger fan, so I would always watch the Dodgers with him. And then he fucking became a traitor and started watching the Mets. And I'm like, you abandoned me. And you know.
Well, it would be ironic if my Red Sox faced off against your Dodgers, seeing as last year that big swap, the Red Sox,
I know.
The Dodgers did the Red Sox a favor and took all these overpaid fat jerk-offs that ruined our season last year. And took a load. It allowed the Red Sox to sign all these gritty ball players.
Yep.
And it's so funny because over the winter they were saying, they finished last place last year, 69 or whatever. You know the whole story.
Yeah.
And the whole marketing thing on the New England Sports Channel is, we have a different attitude. We got all this marketing shit. I go, yeah, okay. If they finish third or fourth, we'll be lucky. They have executed everything they said on those goddamn commercials. They brought in John Farrell, we actually had to trade for him to get him the manager. Yeah. But the guys like Johnny Gomes, and, we have Pedroia. But these guys, Will Middlebrooks and Saltalamacchia, and Shane Victorino, who I was in love with when he was with the Phillies. So anyways, bottom line is we went from worst to first. Yep. We are in the American League Championship Series, either taking on the fucking Tigers or the Oakland A's. And that's a tough one. Here's what you have to decide if you're a Red Sox fan. Do you want to face the Tigers pitching staff of Scherzer and Verlander? Just the best pitchers in baseball. Lights out. Or do you want to travel all the way to frickin' Oakland? And how about this? What if it is Oakland? And we have to go back and forth from Boston to Oakland, crisscross that country. And what do you say? And let's say we win and we have to face the Dodgers. Then you're going to crisscross the country.
True. But then again, Oakland's got to go back and forth, too.
Well, no, I know that. Fuck, I don't think about their feelings. Who gives a shit about that?
Well, it's kind of even it out. But I got to say this, I'm as a hockey, hockey and football are my two favorite sports.
Yeah.
Regular season baseball, I don't know, there's something about it just bores me to I try so hard to get into it. Yeah. Especially it sucks if you're a Dodger fan. The game started 10:30. It's rough, man. When
you got to DVR that shit, son.
I know,
and then you find out the next day.
Yeah, you can't. There's no way you can.
Yeah, that's why you shouldn't be a Dodgers fan living in New York.
Yeah, well, what am I gonna
let that Dodgers thing go? Will you? They
never.
What year did they leave Brooklyn?
Do I look like one of those assholes that abandons their team like that?
Well, you were a fetus when they fucking were on the East Coast. You weren't even born. What am I saying? Right?
Yeah, no, I wasn't. It's true. When did they leave?
Right after Howard Cosell moved into Bay Ridge. No, I forget. I was reading the Howard Cosell book. He was a huge Dodgers fan as a kid. And
I just love them. I don't know. But, it's only playoff baseball I watch and I get into. But regular season, I just can't. After watching, a fucking hockey game, even a regular season hockey game is crazy.
It's hard. They take 3.5 hours. And
as soon as it gets exciting, they got to switch the pitcher.
But you know what? That wasn't true for me this year because the Red Sox were such a calamity last year. And it was an anomaly. I mean, they've been a great team for a long time. But I was so fascinated to see the changes they made and how this new GM, if he could handle it. And holy shit, they have been doing everything right from the bullpen. Who's this Yui Hara guy?
Yeah.
This Japanese guy, I'd never heard of him. I guess he was with the Rangers for a few years. Yeah. Weighs about 106 grams, soaking wet. he throws...
Oh, the studio phone's ringing.
I'm trying to record.
Mom!
Take it easy. Lower it.
I'm not going to lower it. I have to do this now.
I don't mind you playing it, but lower it.
I should have put in the notes to shut the phone off.
Jesus Christ! Look at this. Nobody ever calls back and hangs up and calls right back, except for Colin Quinn. Let the fucking thing ring. It's the beauty of working out of you. I feel like a single mom working out of her house. 3 fucking kids.
I can make $300 a week working from home.
Would you like to make more money? Yeah.
I want to contribute.
So let's hope it's your Dodgers and my Red Sox.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I have to get a little wager going.
Oh, I don't wager. That's illegal. Didn't you know about that?
Well, a friendly one.
No, I wager.
All right, there you go.
Trust me. I put a wager up with a guy that runs the Side Splitters in Tampa. He's a Staten Island guy. Bobby Jewell is his name. And he this is before the football season kicked off. He's a big Giants fan or whatever. First of all, I sat there in his house watching the Red Sox kick the shit out of the Yankees on Fox like a couple months ago.
While he's sitting there?
He was miserable. But he takes a $100 bill and he tears it up. And it was a bet who has a better record at the end of the Patriots or the Giants.
Oh, that's over already.
And when next time we see each other, whoever's right, you get the $100, the other half of the bill or whatever the fuck. But he texted me like a couple of weeks ago going, do you want your money now? Because the Giants are fucking the worst team in football.
Yeah, terrible. Well, my team's the second worst. I'm a Steeler fan, and they're fucking 0-4.
Wait a minute. I don't like this, that you being from New York and you're a Dodgers
I know,
and a Steelers
people don't get
fan.
that. People never do get it. I am a Ranger and a Knicks fan, though, as far as... But it's just the way it is. You know why? Because when I was young and impressionable, like maybe 6, 7 years old, and kids are starting to get into sports. Yeah. That's when the Steelers were winning all their Super Bowls and they were always on television.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You sound like a front runner, motherfucker.
I'm not now. They had a lot of shit years in there too. A lot of shit years.
I know.
If I was a front runner, I would be a fucking Ranger fan.
They stink. Let me tell you about New York, and don't get mad at me, New Yorkers, because I live here and I love you. But other than the Yankees, you are a shit sports town.
Yep.
The Knicks, first of all, you have 2 of everything. You get 2 baseball teams, 2 basketball
and
teams.
They suck. They both
and they
suck.
all suck. Other than the Yankees, I mean, the Mets have sucked for so long, and then the Knicks. You're supposed to be the mecca of basketball. You've been a fucking embarrassment.
Yep.
And then hockey. The last time anybody was any good was the Islanders. I mean, the Rangers in '93 got lucky, but I mean, think about this. All these teams you got.
Oh, they didn't get lucky. Let's slow down there. They were dominant.
Oh, my God.
Fucking
Dominant my ass.
They gave up 9 goals in the last
Wait
game.
a minute. Dominant. Wasn't there a Game 7 against the Devils that year? Messier?
Yeah.
Gary, yeah.
And
real dominant.
And he dominated that game.
Don't forget who you're arguing with. I had a radio show. I had a sports show for 3 minutes, remember? Let's talk a little entertainment, Rob. Right? I mean, we've hit this whole sports thing. I can't wait. I'm recording right now the Tigers A's. So as you're making your long commute home after a 19-hour day,
yeah, you'll be laying here watching the fucking baseball game.
You put in hours like a 12-year-old Taiwanese girl working at a sneaker factory. I'll be watching the ball game to see who the unlucky bastards are that are going to face the 2013 Boston Red Sox. Who, I got to be honest with you, I've been following all the National League and American League playoffs. Like I said, I record everything, and I got to be honest right now. The Red Sox, out of everybody left, they got bullpen. They got speed on the base pass, timely hitting. The starting rotation has been great, and offensively, they were the best team in baseball. So,
But you don't have a pitcher that looks like a fucking asshole like we do with the long beard and the mohawk.
Oh, Brian Wilson? I love that look.
What a fucking
I love
weirdo.
that.
I do, but I just look at him like, what you asshole? Just shave it off. Get rid of it.
I like that. Every time I look at him, it reminds me of going down on a Greek girl in junior high school. No, the guy that makes me nuts is that Fernando Rodney with his crooked hat. You want to be a pitcher or a crip, okay? Yeah. Come on, straighten your hat, Mama Luke. Anyways, let's talk a little Johnny Carson, man. Johnny Carson has been in the news the last couple days. And
one article after another.
Yeah. Both stories actually mention gunplay. It's kind of funny. Did you notice that?
Yeah, who would have made that connection?
Well, he was kind of a wild guy, Johnny.
You're working that board, man, already. I
I'm
love
like
it.
Fred Norris over here.
You're slamming that glass with authority.
But a couple days ago, there was a story about Johnny Carson. His second wife, Joanne, was. This is when the Tonight Show was still in New York City.
She's the one that took all his fucking money,
Yes.
too. Yeah.
He had like 3 wives named Joanne, Joan, and it was a running joke. Seriously. And the second one was, it was, the show was still here in New York City, the Tonight Show, which is going to be again soon. And apparently his wife was running around behind his back. She had a place of her own here in the city, an apartment of her own. And
So she had a Goomba.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you said that like a real feminist. Like it's actually allowable. I don't like it. Only guys can do that shit. But Johnny got wind that his wife was fucking around, and he hired a private eye, and the private eye showed up and said, "Well, what's going on?" He goes, "Well, I think she's fucking Frank Gifford."
Get out of here.
Frank Gifford, who was a handsome, he had movie star good looks. He played like 3 different positions for the New York Giants. He was a football stud. And so Johnny, the private eye, I guess the guy he wrote a book. He's either a lawyer or a private eye that did this. But he said he showed up that day, and Johnny was really upset and said, "Yeah, I think she's fucking Frank Gifford." And Johnny opened his jacket and had a loaded gun. He had a gun on him, and even the fucking private eye's like, "Holy shit, this guy means business." So they break into her apartment when she's not home, and sure enough, there's pictures of Frank Gifford in frames all over her.
Oh my God!
All over her
serious?
apartment. Oh my God! Yeah, and
But even Johnny Carson with a gun doesn't sound threatening to me.
why is that? Anybody? What is that? I don't get
I
that
don't know,
logic.
like, I just can't see him like toting a gun. It doesn't even make it. It's like you would just have figured that you would take it out and you just wouldn't know how to use it.
Well, I can see you saying that about Jimmy Fallon, but Johnny Carson was a hard-drinking Midwesterner,
I guess.
Anybody with a gun's a threat. Your 11-year-old niece, you know what I mean? You'd have to fucking break
She
her arm.
actually does own a gun.
Yeah.
How did you know that?
So, but Johnny, and it's funny you mentioned the gun thing, because I remember a story a long time ago about, this is when he was still on the Tonight Show, that he was at a red light and somebody was giving him some guff in L.A. and he held up a gun. Well, he was at the...
No shit.
Yes. He used to hit it pretty hard, the sauce.
Oh, so that must have been it. That's what...
So I like the fact that he had a little bit of an edge to him. But yeah, so his second wife is like fucking Frank Gifford. Ugh. Dirty whore.
It's gotta suck.
So he gets pissed, and that was that story. That was 2 days ago. Then yesterday it comes out, another Johnny Carson story, again because of this book that's coming out, obviously. But Johnny used to hang out at Jilly's place on 52nd and 8th.
That's Frank's place.
Frank Sinatra's place.
Jilly,
Exactly.
give me a shot.
Wow, that was the worst Sinatra. Who are you doing, Nancy Sinatra? That was fucking horrendous. Oh my God. I just want to sum up that impression you just did, okay? Cock-a-poo-poo, poo-poo, baby. That was horrendous. So anyways, Jilly's, Frank's place. Do the impression again. Go ahead, bro.
Jilly, give me a shot.
You sounded like a 90-year-old.
Bring that broad over here, Jilly.
Give me a shot. You sound like a 90-year-old in a doctor's office. I'm shitting my pants. I got a flu.
Shot in
Give
my
me a
ass,
shot.
Jilly.
They so turns out what were we talking about? Yeah. He goes to Jilly's place and he starts hitting on some hot brunette at the bar and doesn't realize it's some connected guy's girlfriend.
Good job.
The connected guy comes in and didn't give a shit if it was Johnny Carson or John F. Kennedy. Him and a couple of his goons picked Johnny up. I'm sure Johnny must have got a little mouthy. They picked him up and threw him down the stairs. They threw him down a flight of stairs.
That's how they roll.
Yeah, that's how they roll. Not to be surprised. Like he was going to go, "Excuse me, I heard you were hitting on my girlfriend."
I'm so sorry, but we have a relationship right now.
She's taken. Please don't do that again. I can appreciate you find her attractive. No, it's like, here, come here, you little fucking skinny fuck. And throws Johnny down the stairs. And that wasn't enough, apparently. This guy wanted to have Johnny whacked.
Oh, man. That's a high-profile whacking.
Absolutely. I mean, very high pro. If they're playing this at your funeral, They roll out the casket.
There he goes, Jilly.
Here's dead Johnny. So they want to have him whacked. Okay, seriously. So now Johnny gets word of this, and he's holed up in the Plaza Hotel. I guess he had the whole floor to himself.
Like that would stop it.
The way, well, It'll make a little difference. No, exactly. Exactly. Some guy named Vinny dresses up like a doorman.
Yeah, how you doing?
Room service. Mr. Carson. Yeah, room service. I got your pancakes.
Get your pancakes.
So
lead blueberries.
for 3 days, he was held up in the Plaza Hotel, knowing that they fucking. And apparently, somebody at NBC, a bigwig, got the brainstorming and said, "How do we get out of this?" And they called Joe Colombo,
All right.
who was he started the Italian Anti-Defamation League and all that shit, right? But it wasn't getting any ink. Nobody was paying attention to it. Which, by the way, is discriminatory. You don't hear me whining, do you? You fucking Native Americans. I'll get to you in a few minutes. And your redskin problem. So they Joe Colombo gets involved, okay? Joe Colombo. And the NBC network says, look, we'll cover you. He was going to do one of those protests or whatever. We're going to cover that, and you
call off the hit.
We'll make it national news, and if you, spare Johnny... Isn't that unbelievable? All over a little bit of pussy. That's where that's when you know mafia guys are scummish. I mean, the guy didn't. Come on, it's like what the fuck? Like Carson knew that was your girlfriend.
Yeah, but I also think though.
I understand throwing down the stairs, but after that,
yeah, well, that makes sense.
fine.
But don't you think if they really wanted to kill him, don't you think it wouldn't have gone to 3 days? Especially considering, like, if that happens, those guys rage out. You don't think within a day he would have been done?
Well, yeah, but then it's too obvious. You gotta, you know what I mean? You gotta give it a little time to breathe,
Since
don't
when
you?
do they care about obvious?
Huh?
Since when do they care?
What do you mean? They're not dumb.
Well, they got everybody paid.
Yeah, but I mean, it was kind of. I think it was out in public that Johnny had hit on. It would have been a little too
yeah,
obvious.
people saw
You know what I
it,
mean? Wait till he moves the show to the West Coast, then get him. Get him out of
Makes sense.
Get him out of the Burbank parking lot or whatever.
So funny. NBC has to negotiate his way out of a mob.
Isn't that fucking
It's
hilarious?
fucking awesome.
Isn't that? You got a peacock trying to save your life. So that I thought that was pretty fascinating. But Johnny was always getting in trouble over there, and that's where Sinatra and Dean and all the boys hung out over there.
Yeah. I like older Sinatra when he was, he didn't have much of a voice left, so all he was doing was kind of playing the mobster role.
Yes.
More so, he was gone. Like he would talk his lyrics, he wouldn't even sing it anymore. He was like, "By the way," and that would be it. Like he'd get it out quick because he'd be out of breath. The older Sinatra is my favorite.
Yeah, but you say he's like a mobster, but it's very hard to get scared over a capo in a adult diaper. I think I shit my pants, Gilly. But yeah, that could have been lights out for Johnny. You got to be careful. Mm-hmm. Always the smoking broads. You should always know. Yeah. I went to the Raccoon Lodge years ago when I first moved to New York, and there's a smoking bartender behind there.
Is it a real Raccoon Lodge?
Yeah, the one that Ralph Cramden used to hang out in. No, I don't know.
I didn't know there was a real one.
No, it was the name of a bar on the Upper West Side.
It would have been awesome if you had to wear the raccoon hat.
Yeah, it would have been, Rob. We'll get that in a few minutes. So I go in there, and I'm hitting on the bartender. She's like real good-looking broad. And then she goes, I got a boyfriend. He's kind of famous. That's what she says. I go, well, who the fuck is he? Yeah. She's like teasing me. She goes over and gets this picture. I see this picture on the register at the top. Brings it over. Tommy Hearns, the boxer.
Oh, great.
Tommy Hitman, the Motor City Madman. Of
course.
Tommy Hitman Hearns.
Yeah, it's never Carl Sagan unless somebody you can take. It's always some fucking
Tommy
big
Hearns.
Dude.
This guy, I mean, this is what, a little after his prime, but I'm pretty sure he could have killed me. And I'm like, oh, that little puss, huh? You got to be careful. So, who you hitting on? But throw the guy down the stairs. I think that was enough,
Yeah, I think that sends a message. But I guess not. They got what they wanted. Maybe they figured they could get something out of it.
Yeah, Johnny's a wild guy. And he's gone now. He's gone. Nothing we can do about it. That's back in the days where, men were men. Women were afraid of him the way it was meant to be, Rob.
I wish those times were back. I'm going to actually throw my wife down the stairs.
No.
Oh, just to send a message. Nothing crazy.
What message is that?
Nothing crazy.
What message is
just
that?
to reestablish the hierarchy in the house for no other reason.
But that's my point. See, now a guy throws his wife down the stairs today. The stairs are carpeted. Nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, that's true.
But we're living in politically correct times, and it sets me off. And this was in the paper a couple days ago. Long Island Middle School, Port Washington. Is that a town?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Anyways, they're banning footballs and baseballs and soccer balls and stuff like that from recess because kids could get hurt.
Give me a fucking break.
Apparently, the playground, it's not the whole street, the playground is being reconstructed so the kids are in a more confined space or whatever, and they could get hit with a ball. But the point...
You're supposed to get hit with a ball when you're a fucking kid.
No, that's exactly right. I mean, they're trying to make the world a risk-free place. Life is not risk-free, and it's always abroad. I'm sorry, but it's not totally abroad's fault. It's a litigious society between the fucking lawyers and this chick mentality. This is what they're literally banning balls. I said that on Twitter.
Yeah.
Which is much funnier on Twitter, and it's in 140 characters. But they're banning balls, Rob. Really. I mean, so what the fuck?
But like, what do they expect the kids to do then? And then they're gonna wind up fighting because they've got nothing else to get their aggression out with.
Let me read from the Book of Leviticus.
Yeah, let me hear this bullshit.
Let me read from the New Testament. Yeah, they're banning footballs, baseballs, soccer balls, lacrosse balls. How many middle schools are whipping around lacrosse balls? And any other hard balls that could injure a child, including the ones of a guy looking through a fence with a trench coat on.
Well, is a soccer ball considered a hard ball?
Well, yeah, no.
Come on.
This is the times we're living in. Also off limits, rough games of tag. That's what it says. I'm reading from the article. Rough games of tag. Fucking, it's called tag. It's not called fucking fracture.
I've never played rough tag where they punch in the face and say you're it.
It's called tag. You put your hand on somebody's shoulder and go, "You're it, faggot."
And then, by the way, that's like the tag is like the gayest thing you could play as a kid. Like, so why would they
this is Long Island. I don't know what. Rough games of tag. Cartwheels. Honest to God, cartwheels unless an adult supervisor is on hand. Okay, I'm sorry, and ladies, please. I mean no disrespect, but that train of thought could not come from a guy.
No way.
Not in a zillion years. But we have let you push us to this point. So, I mean, ultimately we're at fault. How can you live in a society this fucking feminized? You have to have a supervisor to do a cartwheel.
But let me ask you, because if you're doing a cartwheel and you're going to get hurt, you're still going to get fucking hurt whether somebody's watching you or not.
Rob, it's a great point. I brought it up to the president today.
You did? What did he say?
And, well, that's okay. But you know what's funny about that? It's kind of ironic that you bring that up because in 4th grade, I was in 3rd, my sister was in 4th, same school. My sister breaks her leg at recess during a cartwheel. I swear to God. And then she went on to break it 3 more times. They finally x-rayed it and found out there was a hole. She was born with a hole in her tibia.
Oh, so it kept cracking.
It kept breaking.
Oh. Well, wouldn't they x-ray it after the first break, though?
I can't remember if I might have.
What kind of doctors you going on?
I might have. Well, one of them had a bone through his nose.
I would have spit on it to make it fitter.
He was rubbing chicken blood on her tits. And wasn't a good doctor. But yeah, I can't remember. They found out maybe after the first time that might have been the last time she broke it. Whatever. But she was doing a cartwheel, by the way, at recess.
And broke it. So maybe not too far.
No, your point is well taken. Even if somebody's there watching, it's still gonna break, isn't it?
He's still gonna get hurt.
But just think about this. People are losing it, man. You know.
Yeah, I got a foul tip in the eyeball, and it made me a man.
No, exactly. Yeah. I got hit by a car when I was 11 years old.
No shit.
In a hospital for a week.
Well, where? Did it come on the sidewalk and hit you?
Yes, it did almost. I was literally 2 or 3 inches from the curb. The lady was high. There was weed in her car. I was riding a bike.
Let's not be judgmental about it.
I hit a nerve of the weed thing?
No, I'm just kidding.
I was riding a bike. This is what saved me. I'm not shitting you. I was pedaling a bike the seat came off my bike the day before. And I went down the park to hang out with my friends. And I said to my sister, I'm going to go get change for something to get a submarine sandwich. I was riding a bike with no seat on it, so I was standing up. Mm-hmm. And I crossed this busy street, and next thing I know, and this is true, next thing I know, I'm waking up in the middle of the street.
No shit.
Don't even remember I went into shock, I guess.
Wow.
I wake up, I'm laying on my back, and there's 3 ladies looking over me, and they have veils on their face, and I'm going, what the fuck is going on? And I feel the sharp pain in my back and my legs. I turn to look at my bike next to me, crumpled into half the size of...
Wow, so you hit it hard. She hit it hard.
She came up and hit me from behind. And they said, turns out a friend of mine, Kevin Gaffney, saw the whole thing out his window of his house. Uh-huh. She hit me from behind. I did a flip up onto the hood of her car. I broke the windshield with my head.
Oh, my God.
She skidded 160 feet, and I rolled off the hood onto the street. And I don't even remember any of it. Just remember them loading me into an ambulance.
Hitting the hood of the car probably saved your ass, too.
And if I wasn't standing up, she would have went. They said I would have went under the car.
Yeah, that would have been
And
it.
she had like weed in the car, and she's up. My dad shows up, and her boyfriend gets in my father's face. My dad shows up not knowing whether I'm alive or not.
Mm-hmm.
Just all he sees me being loaded into an ambulance, and this guy with a leather jacket gets my old man's face going, "Wasn't her fucking fault. The car's alight." That's what he said to my dad.
Oh, my
My
God.
father tries to go after the guy, and my friend said there were 3 cops that had my dad around the waist.
Yeah,
and
fuck yeah.
And he's trying to get at this greasy head fuck. And this is how good a guy my old man is. We found out who the lady was. She lived about a mile from us. She was a single mom with like a retarded child. And you know, she had no means of whatever. So my dad let it go, which really means he doesn't love me. But
I was going to say,
I was in
I would let
hospital
it go.
for a fucking week. And you know, this broad hit another friend of mine a year later.
Oh, see, now that's why you don't want to let it go.
No, exactly.
No.
So
Yes, we're advocating vigilantism.
my dad was doing a nice thing, you know. But yeah. So I don't know how we got onto that subject. After doing cartwheels in a fucking.
Yeah.
But according to these, you know, these school superintendents, it's just as dangerous to do a cartwheel as to ride a bike with no seat.
It's really getting ridiculous. Like, what are the kids supposed to play then? They can't play tag. They can't cartwheel. They can't play with balls.
Again, you know, I just used a lawyer, so I don't hate lawyers. Okay, I'm like everybody else until you need one. But,
Yeah, right.
But I want you guys to go out and get a book. It's called The Death of Common Sense by Philip K. Howard. I read it probably 12, 15 years ago, and it's as relevant today, more relevant.
And what is it about that?
It's about the law system, about this death of common sense, that everybody's suing everybody. There's nobody uses any common sense anymore. Some kid pulls out a Tootsie Roll that's shaped like a gun, so they kick him out of school. I mean, it's that type of shit.
Yeah, that's bad. Like, I could get maybe the school thing to a point, like with the guns.
Really? Really? After what I just said, a Tootsie Roll shaped like a gun?
No, like I can get why.
Well, that's what I'm talking
I can
about.
get why they're paranoid about.
I can't.
I can get
I
it.
fucking can't. Okay? Again.
What did they do? They kicked him out of
You
the school?
point your finger like this, and it can get a kid suspended.
And that's it. That's all
You
he did?
understand?
All right. You shouldn't be suspended.
That's what
for
I'm
that.
saying. But again, it's because of, and the same with this, with the no throwing balls at recess and shit.
Yeah.
That's all about being sued. Some kid's going to get hit, and his parents are going to sue you.
Right.
That's what it's about. And this book, Death of Common Sense by Philip K. Howard, says the law is there to serve us. We're not supposed to serve the law.
Right.
Read the book. You'll be amazed at what it's. You know, lawyers are the reason you have a label on a plastic bag that says "Don't put over your head" at the dry clean.
Yes, yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? That's what they mean by the death of common sense.
But somewhere in America, there's a fucking moron that put a bag over his head and that forced them to do that.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's a good thing.
Yeah, let him go.
Because he was a moron.
I agree. Let him
It's
go.
thinning the herd, Rob.
Every time I see one of those, the first thing I think is, you can imagine like somebody must have did that.
Of course they did.
You know, like the silica gel, do not eat.
Well, refrigerators now. You buy a refrigerator, it says do not place on back because some guy, I'm not kidding you. Some guy, do you remember this? You can Google this or look it up on YouTube. Some like bodybuilder was in some race, those strongman competitions, and one of them was a refrigerator race where you put a refrigerator on your back and they try to race like 20 yards. His knees blew out. It was right on camera.
Well, that's what you get.
But now you have to label the.
That's great.
See what
Don't race with a refrigerator.
But do you see my point?
Oh, I
because
do.
of lawyers.
Yeah.
I mean, because, you know.
Just to protect everything.
We're way too litigious. It's fucking crazy. And you combine that with the deballing of America, and this is what you get. So, yeah. Can I mention the broad name, the superintendent of
Yeah,
school?
yeah. I'm
Shit.
sure she would love to be called a broad.
Yeah. Broad is not a derogatory term.
No, it's a compliment. I agree.
No, it is. If you talk to real feminists, they don't have a problem with it. Even chick and babe, that might be another thing. Twat, they don't like either. I noticed twat. And,
Yeah, no, I don't know why, though.
I don't know what the fucking name is, but this, you know, you go to the comment section after an article like this, and people are actually trying to. Most people are like, "That's silly. You got to let kids be kids. They're going to get hurt." But there's always a few.
Yeah, soccer moms.
There's always a few that I don't think kids should have their fun pastimes discontinued, but head trauma can be serious," said Marilyn Decker on Facebook.
Man, like
Stay the fuck on Facebook, Marilyn.
She has had trauma already. That's the problem.
Exactly. She said that as she was drooling ice cream from the corner
I
of her
mean,
mouth.
come on, like what? Stop.
Anyways.
I fell out of a fucking dumpster and landed on my skull when I was a kid.
Did you? What are you doing in a dumpster?
This is how stupid we were. It was a big empty dumpster, and we were skating in it. with our roller skates back and forth because there was no hockey. We couldn't play hockey because all of the cars were on the street. There was a big empty dumpster, so our brilliant decision was let's all get inside the dumpster.
Makes sense, though.
And skate back and forth inside the dumpster. It was one of those big ones, and we were getting out because somebody was coming, and so we're like, get out. And I'm climbing over the dumpster, and the kid behind me pushed me, and I fell over and landed right on my head.
Had a similar thing, too.
No shit, really?
Got stitches, yeah. Frankie Consoli, my buddy. I'm on his porch. Was about, I don't know, 6-7 feet off the ground, his front porch, a wooden thing. I'm on my belly looking over the edge. Grabs my feet and pushes me over.
Motherfucker.
And I had a dent in my head. My mother fucking freaked out. And she saw me get stitches all the time. But I had a flat spot where I landed.
No shit.
And it came back. It was like denting a Coke can.
Yeah, well,
it popped back out.
I got this Frankenstein scar up here, too.
I didn't even notice that.
That's from when
I was too focused on your bad haircut.
I fell down a flight of stairs.
Did you really?
And landed on that when I was a kid.
So what do you think?
Head trauma's was the
serious
way I
thing?
like to go.
Well,
No.
then put on a helmet like the rest of the fucking idiots in this country.
What do you think the bad haircut is?
Do you ride a bike? Would you wear a helmet today? Ride your
Fuck
bike?
no.
Everybody else does.
No, I don't.
I'm in the woods of Westchester, okay? Like on a bike path 4 miles into the woods, and there's a guy coming at me like in his 40s with a helmet on.
No. No way.
What's going to happen?
If you're off-road mountain biking, like crazy shit, then maybe.
Maybe.
But when we went to buy bikes, my wife and I, the guy's like, hey, you want some helmets? I'm like, I don't want a fucking helmet.
I'm not going to wear a helmet.
I'd
I'd rather be dead.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to die of embarrassment. I'm going to be hit by a cement truck. But a fucking helmet. That's a solution to everything today. Again, that's because of lawyers, though, you know?
Yeah, they fuck it all up.
Well, our president, he wears a helmet.
I know you're a fan.
Look, I'm not nuts, you know? He seems like a nice... I'll tell you, when you listen to him talk, I want to like him, you know? That's not the point. And I'd rather hang out with him. People used to go, well, I'd rather... George W. Bush seems like a type of guy you'd hang out with. I never felt that way. I'd rather hang out with like Obama, shoot hoops and smoke a joint. But no, he's just in over his head. And the fact that nobody will admit that makes me sick to my stomach. But my point is he wears a helmet when he's on vacation riding bikes. Remember they show him?
Yeah, I did
Ever
see
see
that
picture?
Yeah, that was rough. And like the forced photo of him shooting a gun was another one that always like bothered me a little bit. With the skeet shooting, all of a sudden he has a photo of him
That's what I'm saying. All presidents do that horseshit. But he's on a bike like in Martha's Vineyard with a helmet on, right? And like a little windbreaker.
Just put a propeller on the
and
top
his
of it.
mother-in-law's jeans. and they put it next to a picture of Putin on the internet. Putin with no shirt on and a rifle on a horse. It was
carrying
the
a
funniest
deer
thing
on
I'd
his
ever
shoulder. That's a big difference.
But you know, it's just I can't take it. The political correctness, and there's a whole generation that's bought into this shit. You know, I mean, the last few nights on stage, I can't get through my act without somebody debating or raising their hand. You know. Doing a thing about illegal immigrants. I just used the term illegal immigrant the other night on stage, not even in a derogatory way.
Right, and it does exist. There are illegal
I just mentioned it, and I see this girl shuffling her seat, and she whispered something to her boyfriend real loud. And she goes, I'm going to make an issue of this. I go, you're going to make an issue of what?
Yeah, what's the issue?
I was talking about those roadside memorials that you see along the road. You know, and I said, I saw this huge one. They're getting really elaborate in Yonkers. It looked like a piñata hanging out of a maple tree. I go, apparently a van full of illegals tipped over. That's all I said. I'm not saying I'm against for. I'm just saying. And she starts yelling shit out. She was a young Hispanic chick. Jeez. This is what I'm talking about, though. This politically correct horse shit. You know, it doesn't come from my side of the fucking aisle.
And you've told me you get that a lot in New York City, of all places, which it surprises me.
Now, I got to process that. How does that surprise you? And the most liberal political correctness comes from the left. Mm-hmm. That you have to understand first, right? Would you agree with that statement?
Of course I would, sure.
With race and gender, it's
the far left, absolutely.
I'd say it's a mainstream left, not just the far left. And so why you shouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's like plus I'm doing the Comedy Cellar on the campus of NYU. They behave pretty much down there. Those kids know them. You know, they know my politics, but like this place to stand on the Lower East Side. I mean, every night somebody gets their nose bent on a joint, and this girl gets all fucking huffy, and I go, you don't even know why you're mad. I go, did I say anything derogatory?
Why go to a fucking comedy? I don't understand this. Why go to a comedy show and then be, oh my God, I was offended? Like we've had this conversation between the Michael Richards and everybody else. Look, maybe Michael Richards, maybe that was, I could get why people misconstrued it. That was a little different. And it's never something that they say off stage, though. Like, it's always something that they say on stage doing a fucking act. That's what that infuriates me.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, then people say, well, you can't use that as an excuse. I was just joking. People always say that, but yeah, I can actually.
Yeah.
And I will.
I've done it many a time.
Yeah. No, because I am.
Yeah.
But where does it all stop? And this leads me to probably a final topic for the night, because Rob's been up since, he's going on hour 22.
That's all right.
And but the whole Redskins thing with the NFL and the name of the Redskins is that racist and I've been ignoring this for a couple of years.
Yeah, and I give them credit because they've been standing strong on this, because when they first said it, they didn't back down from it, and I'm glad, because the Redskins.
Okay, you're saying.
Yeah.
You have to clarify. I thought you meant the Indian Nation was standing strong.
No. The Redskins. Because, come on, give me a... Go ahead, read this. I'm getting aggravated.
No, I'm just saying, I try to ignore it because I'm just so tired of it. And you're right. The owner, Snyder, who's a rich little yuppie or whatever, who he's the owner of the team, and he did say, I'm never going to change. He's backed off in that position a little bit. He says, look, I respect. But every poll they've done... Every poll, even Native Americans, 9 out of 10 of them aren't bothered by this.
Right, they could give two shits.
You get the Oneida Nation who's bothered by it, and 9 out of 10 of Americans don't give a shit. They said they should keep it. Every poll you do. So then there's this mentality. But if you're just offending, Roger Goodell actually said this: if one person is offended, we should listen to that person. Okay, well, you know what? I'm Italian. I was offended by Jersey Shore. Yeah. That thing's been on a fucking loop for the last 4 years. Could you depict us anymore in a derogatory way? Why is it, you know what I mean? Why have my feelings? Oh, you're a white European man. We don't give a fuck. You're the last bastion we can make fun of.
Right.
Okay. And I understand the Indians, but I'm sorry, you're outnumbered here. It is used in a positive way. It's not meant as a slur. Okay.
Right.
And, President Obama weighed in on it. Okay.
Please take the right way.
What are the odds he's going to agree with me on this one? But this is what he had to say.
Obviously, people get pretty attached to team names, mascots. I don't think there are any Redskins fans that mean offense.
End of discussion.
I've got to say, if I were the owner of the team,
no,
and I knew that there was a name of my team, even if it had a storied history that was offending a sizable group of people, I'd think about changing it.
Yeah, if I had your approval ratings, I'd think about changing my name.
Oh my God.
I'm sure a lot of people are offended by his middle name who lost people in the Iraqi war. Do you see what I'm saying? Where do you want to take this? At what point? Why are some people's feelings more valid than other people's?
More importantly, like, why does he even have to comment? Why can't he just say, "Hey, look, that's between the team"? Why does he have to weigh in? Why does he have to comment on fucking everything?
He weighs in when it's he didn't weigh in when the white kid jogging was shot in the back for nothing.
Yeah, he was quiet.
He could have really stepped. Maybe he did, and I missed it, but he could have stepped in and really healed the nation at that point with something. But look, I see what he's saying, but here's my point, okay, folks? And this is for people who come out to comedy clubs and get upset and say, you don't have the right not to be offended. Do you understand? That right doesn't exist anywhere. You don't have the right not to be offended, okay? We're all offended. We seem to be giving more weight to people's feelings to certain groups than others.
Right.
All right? Either have it for everybody or just shut the fuck up. Okay? Most Native Americans aren't bothered by this. Okay? So that tells me it's not like there's a zillion Native Americans. And again, that's a different story. They have a point there. But, well, that's what this is all about. No, it's not. Is this how we're trying to heal past, wrongdoings?
Yeah, so what are they going to change it to some fucking vanilla name, and then all of a sudden all the wrongdoings that have ever been done to Native Americans are all okay now?
That's exactly right. How does this affect your day? You Native Americans who are offended by this, all three of you, how does it affect your day? Seriously. Do you get up going, oh, Jesus, I can't make it through the day. They still have that logo. I have a solution. I have a solution. Here's my compromise. You let them keep the name Redskins. but take the logo off and replace it with Ted Kennedy after he had 10 scotches.
It's the same thing. It's
A
like
nice beat red fucking Irish face.
You're not gonna be
Now
able
you
to
can
tell
call
the
them Redskins. Okay?
perfect.
There's your solution. So stop with the hypersensitivity, okay? We're all offended by something.
It's gonna get worse too. It's gonna get
You're
worse.
goddamn right it is. I was told when I first started doing stand-up, again in 87 or 88, somebody came at me after open mic, you're politically incorrect, and that's going to be the trend. That people are going to love that. And because that's coming around real soon. And you know what? That was in 1987. Here we are, what? 26 years later, it's only gotten exponentially worse.
Yeah.
And I see no end in sight. So hell, by the way, that's the main purpose of me doing a podcast. It's seriously to try to help put the end to this fucking insanity we're going through.
I've been dying to hear you uncensored. That's what needs to be done.
This is going to be the most mellow show
Yeah.
you'll hear. Is my first one.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the
Good.
government will have their faces in this too eventually.
Yeah, I mean, eventually they'll probably try to get around to it, but it's going to take a lot.
Well, the internet already has a left-leaning sense to it.
Then we're going to put you on a ship, and we're going to sail you out to safe waters, and then you can be uncensored out there on a fucking boat.
Yeah, here's what I think about that idea. Cock-a-poo-poo, poo-poo, beep-beep. Anyways, that wraps up show number 1, kids.
Go, good. That's it. You did it.
I don't know when it's coming out. These things have to be, iTunes takes a look at it, make sure I'm not illegal, and they'll throw it up in a few days.
Yep.
Is that correct?
It's coming, yeah.
I want to thank Rob Sprance, the president and CEO of Riotcast Network, which is where you can hear this show and a lot of other funny shows, and on iTunes, obviously.
Yep.
And that's about it. Anything to add?
Oh,
yeah.
The guy who wrote your theme song.
Richie
Castellano
of Blue Oyster Cult.
Yep.
He's the one who did that amazing guitar work you hear at the beginning of the show and the end of the show.
Yep.
And I want to get him on here eventually.
Yeah, and he's fantastic. He'll come here and play a bunch of songs and just so fucking talented. It's unbelievable.
He did a thing where he did Bohemian Rhapsody. He played all different instruments, did it all himself. It's on
YouTube. Yeah.
On YouTube. Look it up. Thank you, Richie. Seriously, I asked. He asked for a couple songs that I like, different samples of music, and he nailed it.
He did.
He's a freak of nature, man.
And I looked at your list and I was like, wow, this is going to be, let's see what he comes up with. And
It's a catchy tone if you're doing meth. No, he's the fuck. I want to get him on here, seriously. So that's it, kids. Thank you, Rob Sprance. Had a long
thank you,
day.
Nick. It's great to
All right?
have you.
And until I talk to you kids next time, wash your dirty faces. Good night, everybody.